Hello friends, if you're new, welcome to my channel. How about going down and hitting the subscribe button and ringing the bell so you don't miss any of my content. For my fans and subscribers, welcome back. I really do appreciate you. Today's topic, Origins of Satan, Christians versus Rome. Let's go. Celsus ridiculed Christians for being childish and absurd. While this criticism may have had merit, his argument that Christians were seditious conspirators did not. Most Christians, no doubt, were good citizens who heeded the advice of their leaders to obey authority. They did not want any confrontation. However, Christians professed primary allegiance to God, and this had the capacity to divide a person's loyalty. This meant that, unlike pagans, Christians decided for themselves which laws of the land were contrary to God's laws, and the Christian's duty was to God's law first. Unlike pagans who felt that state authority had religious sanction, Origen argued that Christians, because of their allegiance to God, not only had the right to disobey an evil government, but also had the right to assassinate tyrannical rulers. However, these thoughts did not arise from a sense of individual rights, as this concept did not even exist until the Enlightenment. Instead, they come from the sense of being God's people, citizens of heaven, who are no longer subject to evil rulers. Origen associates evil governments with the devil and rationalizes that it is just to form associations against the devil's tyrannical laws. About 100 years after the Gospels were written, Christians adapted them to identify the struggle between God's people and Satan's people. As Christianity began attracting converts in the 2nd century, questions began to arise about what being a Christian required. It was common that when the head of a wealthy household converted, they would require their family and slaves to accept baptism. So, were these really converts? Of course, all converts understood that baptism cleansed them of their sins and expelled any evil spirits, as well as gifting the Spirit of God to the convert. But what was required after baptism? By the way, fun fact, baptism didn't start with Christianity. Christians debated among themselves if they should maintain social and familial relationships or break them, as Jesus commanded in Luke 14:26. This was mainly in response to pagans disowning those who became Christians. Obviously, different groups interpreted this differently. The Christians dreaded Satan's attacks from the pagans, but many believed Satan was among them. Again, the intimate enemy, masquerading as teachers and apostles of Christ. Soon, any Christian with whom another disagreed was labeled a heretic. And just because I'm feeling so generous today, at no extra charge, I am throwing in heretics, the true evil from within. Now, Lloyd Evans of the John Cedars channel says that Jehovah's Witnesses have a very strong persecution complex. I don't doubt that at all. However, Lloyd has never lived in the United States. He was born in Great Britain and now lives in Croatia. I would suggest that Christians in general, at least in the United States, have a very strong persecution complex. So they see heretics everywhere. This led some to begin systematic organizations to unify Christian groups, both internally and across the empire. All Christians acknowledged the authority of Jesus, Peter, and Paul. Some Christians, in a bid to show that bishops exercise legitimate apostolic authority over their congregations, wrote the letters of 1st and 2nd Timothy that are attributed to Paul and are, to this day, part of the New Testament, even though they are known to be forgeries. 1 Peter is also a forgery. Those who did write this letter wanted to deflect hostility toward Christians by modifying some of the demands of Jesus supposedly made in the Gospels. They borrowed pagan codes of conduct to construct, quote-unquote, new Christian moral codes. Now, the author of this particular book does not give a more particular citation other than that in Luke. So my best guess is that it is referring to the time when Jesus says, "Unless you hate your father and mother, you cannot be my disciple." David Balsh, New Testament scholar, has shown that all of these letters cast Peter and Paul into roles that did not fit their characters. That is, these letters give the impression that both of these men urged Christians to emulate Roman behavior, something a Jew would not do. For instance, in 1 Peter, the writer urges Christians to accept the authority of the Roman Empire, a move that a Jewish man would never take. The writer also wants followers to carry out domestic duties according to Roman civic virtues. If you are a Christian who has gotten this far, I want you to think about something. And I want to let you know right now, I have no interest in changing your mind. However, I do want you to think about this. How can the perfect Word of God have forgeries? Just think about it. However, some believers did not accept these moral codes. Around 90 CE, a letter was circulating around the community that was attributed to Clement, who was widely regarded as Peter's successor. In this letter, the writer laments that some refused to acknowledge the authority of the priests that were set over them. In this letter, the writer insists that the opposing position had arisen from both arrogance and jealousy, urging the dissidents to submit to the priests. He stops short of identifying these people with Satan, perhaps hoping that they would finally submit. Such controversies were quite common in the empire, and those that identified themselves as having the proper apostolic succession circulated this letter as well as other writings throughout the empire. Eventually, these coalesced into the canon of church tradition. So I just wanted to give a little information about organization. Constantine did not organize the Roman Catholic Church into what we know today. This was actually accomplished around this time at 90 CE. The Christian churches used the Roman army as a template, and thus they organized themselves into a hierarchy. Now, this hierarchy included a bishop that was over a mass called a diocese. Well, friends, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I come out with new content, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. My Twitter, Discord, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the source that I used for this episode. If you wish to support this channel, you may do so on my PayPal link, but do you first. Keep learning and searching for truth. Here are a few videos from Forgeries. If you have not watched them yet, go ahead and watch them and tell me what you think. Stay safe, my friends, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.